Latasha Davis here with Reset Mondays, and I am super excited about this particular series because it is on self-care. So you know how I am about self-care and taking care of myself, and I want to make sure that you do the same thing. So today we have an exciting artist here today, and it's by the name of Kevin Cole. Yes, I'm so excited to have Kevin here today. So listen, when we talk about the different artwork, I told you guys a little bit about the series on self-care and how art can be a part of self-care. So we're going to have a special artist, again, by the name of Kevin Cole here. I'm going to give you a tad bit information about Kevin, then I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself. So again, we have the artist extraordinaire here, Kevin Cole. He is known throughout the world as well as the country, and so his artwork is in more than 3,600 public and private corporate collections throughout the United States. And then the most important one that I am really super excited about is that his artwork is in the National Museum of African American History and Culture and Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. So I would like to introduce you to Kevin Cole. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Tasha.
I'm so excited to have you here with us on today.
Well, thank you. I am too. I appreciate you inviting me.
So, you know, I didn't give a lot of information about who you are. I know you're a family man, you're a God-fearing man, yes, exactly. And that you are very known in the community. So just give us a tidbit more about you.
Well, I did my undergraduate at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and then a little later I attended the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana, where I received a Master's of Art in Art Education. Then I received a MFA, a Master of Fine Arts in Drawing, from Northern Illinois University. And actually, I tell the story how I really got involved in art is I have a speech impediment in which I stutter. So my mom would always tell me whenever I would have a bad day, go make mama a picture. Wow. So that really started my career as an artist, and a little later I moved to Atlanta. My first teaching job was at Camp Creek Middle School and at Georgia State. Then I went on to start the magnet program at Tri-Cities High School, started the magnet program at North Springs, and started the art department at Westlake High School.
Wow. So art has really played a significant role in your life. That's awesome. I love what your mom said, you know, go make me a picture. Yes. And so the interesting thing is our parents tell us to do that sometimes to just get us off their case. But in this case, she really introduced you to something amazing. Wow. So if we can just look at all this gorgeous art that's behind us and a lot of the pieces here that we are going to talk a little bit about. But I want to talk to you about our series, which is on self-care. So we know self-care comes in so many different facets. People do self-care as far as going to a spa, they do long walks, they exercise. So what do you consider to be, or what do you define self-care?
I think self-care is something that, to me, it's a talent maybe, okay? And for me, it started with meditation. And I never forget that Reverend Williams did a series called 7 Minutes with God. Yeah. And that's when it first started. And so I make that relate to my work in terms of being an artist. It's feel like when I'm in my studio working, I can never have enough time. It's like, you know, you're there, you're working, listening to music, whether I'm listening to a sermon, where I get my inspiration for the titles of my work. You know, so when we talk about my work, I always say my work deal with, let's say, 4 to 5 different issues. Number one, a story my grandfather told me. Number two, two or three events changed their lives forever. Yeah. September 11th, Hurricane Katrina. And I would say number 4, the relationship between sight, sound, and color, meaning that music, and number 5, relationships. So when I talk about the story that my grandfather told me, when I graduated from high school, he lived in Terre, Arkansas. I didn't want to go register to vote. He was 91 years old. I told him I didn't think it'd make a difference. He kneeled down with his cane and drew me a map. Told me to go to this certain area and stand around these trees. When I came back, I told him I had this scary feeling that my African American had been lynched by their neckties on their way to vote. Wow. And in 1990, there's a book called Without Sanction, documented several lynchings that took place near his home.
Wow.
In Star City, Arkansas. So then we talk about September 11th. I was supposed to go to New York with a friend of mine that day. Wow. That day before I decided I didn't want to go. And look what happened. Yes. So he sent me a picture of a little boy holding a piece of tar paper and aluminum. So I started working on aluminum and tar paper as my protest against September 11th. Wow. So then when you look at the idea of Hurricane Katrina, I had a lot of frat brothers who lived in New Orleans, and I was going back and forth with them, picking up different things that they needed. And I started to pick up a lot of the debris was there and included in my work. So it gave me the idea, once I would look at TNT, they would map the path of the storm, show you where the storm started, these little areas on the map where it was going to hit. So I started a series of mapping where I would look at places in New Orleans when the storm first started, and I would weave the neckties and scarf shapes in between these shapes, okay? And that's how I would come up with some of the titles of the work. And so that's where I said I did a series called Fragments of Frozen Sound. And it was about New Orleans having its own music, its own language, like, hey, baby, you know, having its own language, and I incorporated a lot of those things inside my work.
Wow, you know what, that in itself speaks for itself, right? With the way you come up with the different type of collections, and because you're relating it to things that we see every day. Right. And that's pretty much what art is. You see art every day, and how you see it actually is how you appreciate it, how you view it. And you talked a little bit about meditation, right? And the creativeness that comes through the meditation, right? So tell me a little bit about how you feel that a creative should start off their day. Like when they start, what should they do?
Well, I know for me, what works for me is that, number one, I wake up, you thank God for being here this day, and I used to hear old people say that, I woke up in my right mind. I'm like, don't everybody do it? Yeah. But as you get older, you find out a lot of people don't. Exactly, and a lot of people don't wake up. They go to sleep and then they don't wake up. Yeah. So for me, I always pray and thank God for that. But then I have several daily words, you may call, that I listen to, then I read, and then there's always a Bible verse that relate to it. So then I come over here, if you notice on Facebook, I post every Monday what I'm listening to and what sermon I'm listening to. And see, what a lot of people don't know is I write down the name of the piece first before I do the piece. Wow. So the piece needs to relate to the title. Okay? So with one of my pieces I did, it was Michael Jordan's ex-wife that she liked. It was entitled, "If I Change My Name Tomorrow, Would My Journey Stay the Same?"
Ooh, that's a preach. That would preach, okay?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And it was based on Michael's father being killed. And one of the comments he made that all the money I had, I couldn't save my father.
If you could sum up self-care in a sentence and give us 3 practical ways that you think that self-care can help any artist or any creative, what would it be?
Okay, I'm gonna start with this. During the time I was painting the mural for the Olympics, the late Maynard Jackson, he, before I painted your portrait, I had to interview you. They asked him how he wanted to be remembered. He said he lived by a poem by Margaret Walker that said, "If I die, would it matter if I was ever born?" If I die, would it matter if I was ever born?
Wow.
The next thing I'm gonna say, I tell my students to write in their sketchbook the first day of class, good art is the result of intelligent decision making. Good art is the result of intelligent decision making. Now, you can also say intelligent decision making is about life. Making those lifelong decisions. The third point I would say is you learn through a process of doing.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. You learn by the process of doing. That's going to be my quote for this particular segment, for sure.
You learn through a process of doing.
Yeah.
Because people will say, I tell my friend from New Orleans, he's always fixed to. I'm a fixed to do this. I'm fixed to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't learn, you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
But then you got to come back and read back. It's just like when you mess up and you ask God for forgiveness.
Yes.
Okay? You probably like, I messed up now. Why did I do that? Now, how can I not make this same mistake twice?
Right. Right. That's why Reset Mondays was born.
Yeah.
Because of that. I got so tired of people saying, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it Monday. Yeah. And Monday was always the day.
Yeah.
But, okay, you can start on Monday, so let's start now. Let's start this journey right now together so that you can improve in whatever area that you are needing to. Because that chance is there.
It's there.
It's there.
Every time you wake up, you got a chance.
Yeah. Brand new grace and mercy.
Mercy, thank you.
Right, absolutely. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so listen, everybody. We are going to go and view some of Kevin's favorite pieces in his personal collection. So I want you to take the journey with us. Come on. Hey guys, welcome back. So we are at Kevin Cole's home. He invited us to his home, to see his amazing artwork. So listen, I want you to pay attention to all of this great artwork we're going to show you as it relates to self-care. So Kevin, tell us the first piece, your favorite piece here.
Well, this piece, I started buying and collecting art when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
My professors encouraged me to start my collection because when I would go to their homes, they had their own art collection. This is by the late Ernest Davidson, who was my a sculpture teacher at University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. And he said to me, well, I want to do your face and your son's face. So on this side, I was 35 years old. And on this side, I was 40 years old, okay? Wow. So then my son was 13. He was 9 on this side.
Wow.
So then he did the face, and it's one of my favorite pieces. And he said, but what I want to do is I want to turn it into a lamp. And so it's called Two Generations of Coles.
Wow.
So it's me, it's he and I, Skylar and myself, and it was done in 2003.
Gosh, that is so gorgeous. And the 2 generations in one. I mean, so tell me, it's a lamp, of course, but does it have any significance to the light?
The light, as well as the African symbols here. You see the gold placed under there. So you have a lot of symbolism in terms of that. But he was always, because Ernest had a son. He was close to his son. Okay. So a lot of his pieces dealt with being a black father. And that was real important for me and doing it and him creating the piece with my son. And it's one of the pieces that my son said one day that's what he like hopes to have.
Wow, okay. That is gorgeous. Tell us about this piece.
Well, this piece is by an artist by the name of Cedric Smith, who's a good friend of mine. He did a slave series, and I didn't quite understand it until later, till I started to read it. And you think about being from the South. I'm from Arkansas, and my grandfather would tell me stories just like this.
Right.
Tell me stories about how they would really give descriptions of us, places on the auction block. Yeah. And a lot of the males, they were considered to be property. And all of this is true.
Yeah.
When you read it, Jacob, 23 years old, 5 feet 6 inches in height, of dark complexion, very stout, pleasing encounters, walks with a stiff, and smiles when spoken to.
What a description.
Yes.
What a description.
Yes.
Of how they looked at us. Wow.
So when collecting art, we've always bought art that speak to us. And we always wanted to collect our culture, which was the most important thing. Yeah. And this is one I think that signifies a lot. And my daughter and son, trying to explain to them these are things that we went through. Yeah. And we're going through now, especially as an African American male, tell them I walk in and out of two worlds. Most of us do, who are African American.
Right.
One black and one white.
That's right. That definitely sums it up for sure.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, my last question for you. If I wanted to be or become a new art collector.
Okay, very good.
What
very good collector, very good.
Yeah.
I would encourage you to buy a book by a lady by the name Halima Taha.
Okay.
It says collecting works on paper by African American artists. Okay? And read that book how it is, number one, an investment. Number two, you buy what you like. But at the same time, buy work that speaks to you. And if you know the artist, that personal relationship, I encourage people not to buy anything over $1,000 because you're not used to paying that much art.
Yeah.
And also, artists got a payment plans. I got clients that pay $100 a month for a piece.
Wow.
Buy a smaller piece.
Yeah. But
buy the best work that you can afford. And then you would start going to art shows, reading about the artists, and even if it's high school students, there are a lot of very good high school kids.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a collection I saw in Florida. The art teacher would buy one piece a year for no more than $100. We thought these were professional artists.
Yeah.
They were all high school kids.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's awesome.
And you can do work that you just have works by all the African American artists. But ours is more diverse. We have both black, we have a couple of Asian artists. We have a room that is by women and about women.
Wow. That's
artists.
great. I love that.
So I always say educate yourself first, then you start out buying maybe one piece a year, one piece every a year, then buy the best of what you can afford.
Wow. That is awesome. Well, how can we get in touch with you? How can we get a piece of your art?
ArtistKCole.com is my website. Okay. And Kevin Cole 2378 is my Instagram. But if you Google me, it'll come up.
I'm sure, because I Googled him. And he's definitely out there in the world of artistry. So I want to thank each of you for coming in and tuning in with us today on Reset Monday. Listen, you can get more content on Reset Monday by going to our website, which is listed below, as well as our social media platform. We want to say thank you to Kevin Cole for allowing us to come into his space on today, his beautiful home, and allowing us to see all of his great painting and all of his work. But be sure you comment below on videos or topics you want us to visit in the next episode or series. Well, I'm Latasha Davis, and remember to realign your spirit, reset your mind, and redeem your body to transform your life. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.